head to the pole. Watch out, 'cause I'm in my zone.
Well, good afternoon and welcome into the Edgar Centre for another exciting round in the Sal's National Basketball League. Good afternoon, Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside Casey Frank. It's the Otago Nuggets up against the travelling Auckland Tuatara in Dunedin, and the Tuatara already having got their road trip underway successfully with a win over the Sharks on Friday night. Casey Frank, good afternoon. All the buzz around this one, let's just get it out there. Kirk Penny has signed to play for the Tuatara, but I understand he is not in the gym today.
He is not in the gym today. To be eligible to play for the remainder of the season, he had to be on the roster, but that is high hopes for the Tuatara as we take a look at the ladder. They're at the top, ending that 4-game skid with the win over the Sharks, but chasing them tightly are the Nuggets. A win here would put them right into the thrust of that top 3.
It's amazing though, top spot has 5 losses, 6th place has 5 losses. This is one of the tightest races in many, many years.
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to be tough, and it's just getting tighter as we see the action finishing today. The Saints take on Taranaki. That is a huge game for both squads' finals hopes. And then starting round 11 will be the Airs again against the Bulls. You didn't get enough Bulls action. Try that next night as the Jets attempt to take on the Bulls once again.
Yeah, so upcoming games, and goodness me, every single one of them is crucial. You know, it used to be that you could call a few games across the weekend in the National League, and maybe 1 or 2 might influence the top of the table, and one might decide the wooden spoon, but every game has a bearing.
Well, even the Sharks, although they are more than likely out of his, Charlie Dalton has a little spill in the warm-up line. It's going to be a tough one. You lose some games, you could be out of it quickly as we take a look at the starting lineup.
So Russo Nance with an ankle injury coming into this one, but he's been cleared to start. So Schneider, the American, has been impressing as he grows into this competition. Braden Iuli, Charlie Dalton is mentioned in the starting lineup in the absence, of course, these days of Chris Johnson. And Rob Lowe, there he is on screen, the big tall black centre, starting 5 for head coach Aaron Young. And Charlie Dalton, as a youngster getting an opportunity to start, may not play big minutes, Casey, but still a big opportunity for a young school kid.
Hey, it was, and he did a great job against the Sharks, doing a nice defensive job against Winston Shepard III, but it might be tougher sledding against these guys in blue and gold today. Yeah,
McCulloch, Withers, Boyd, Aitchison, and Timmins. Of course, a couple of these guys fresh off the back of either Tall Blacks duty or 3x3.
Yeah, and I think a huge pickup to have Mikael McCulloch back in the lineup. He was so influential on their victories earlier. Struggled without him, but back at full strength now.
So both teams with obvious aspirations of making the 6 and then challenging to win this competition. Head-to-head, we look at offensive output. The Tuatara edged that by 6. On the rebounding count, again, it's the Aucklanders. The Nuggets get busy in the paint, largely on the back of Sam Timmins. And both absolutely level pegging. They're both great with their efficiency from the floor.
Of course, for the Tuatara, a lot of that damage was done with that full-strength lineup of Johnson and Fotu. A different team rebounding the basketball. It all lies essentially on Rob Lowe now, but for the most part, he has been up to the task in those other players' absence.
So we got a little time as we'll introduce our officials momentarily, but a little time to just dwell on thoughts of Kirk Penny returning to this competition. Callum Welch, Matt Bathurst and Hamish Dale in charge of this one. Casey, if he does take to the floor in their next outing, 22 years between drinks. He played for the Harbour Kings, and I said, Casey, I don't know that I've even heard of the Harbour Kings, but your basketball knowledge goes a little deeper than mine. You recall those days, a couple of years for the Harbour Kings. That's going back a long way, 22 years.
Yeah, even for me, that was just prior to my arrival, but they lived on in lore. It's certainly great to see them mentioned again. Of course, he was playing with his college coach and a one-time boss when he was there with the Harbour Kings, and some other teammates as well. Heck of a player, earned himself a scholarship to Wisconsin. And then the rest was history for Kirk. It'd be great to have him back in the competition for the remainder of the regular season, although word has been handed down, if he doesn't play in all 5, which he won't, he will be ineligible for the finals contention.
Yeah, so let's just clarify, if you've just joined us, news released on the Sal's NBL social accounts today and the Tuatara that they've signed Kirk Penny as injury cover, but he's not in the gym, not here at the Edgar Centre today. So he will very much be an influence on a team that does have more than its share of young players. I mean, what an opportunity for the likes of Dante Russo-Nance and Charlie Dalton, we've mentioned already in the starting lineup, to train alongside, play alongside, and just sit alongside an absolute legend in Kirk Penny.
Yeah, that's something that they need, is a little bit of that veteran nous. You know, speaking to Rod Lowe, he loved being around the team, but they are very young, and that youth has shown up, especially in these tight games. In that 4-game losing streak, the total in the loss column was 12 points over those 4 games. So down the stretch, that clutch factor just wasn't there with the youth movement. And they have improved. A huge win over the weekend and the first of the doubleheader against the Sharks to head off that schneid. But anytime you can add a guy like Kirk Penny, you got to do it.
So looking at the tail of the two rosters here, the Nuggets, do they go deeper? Is that an advantage for them here at home this afternoon?
Actually, no. The Nuggets are one of the teams that are most reliant on their starting 5. I think now with the injuries and with the departures, these two teams will have similar need to rely on their starters similarly. I think Charlie Dalton might sit a bit. Coming in for the Tuatara will be Nick Barrow. He'll play a majority of those minutes. But for the Nuggets, they do welcome back McCulloch, which does give them a little bit of presence on the bench. That moves Keith Williams, who has been a little bit under the weather. He was questionable coming into the day for illness. He's suited up. I believe he is ready to play and is going to contribute, but he will start on the bench, which hasn't been the place of him. But at least that, for the Nuggets, gives them their most dependable bench presence probably this season.
And of course, they started their campaign, a lot of talk about the strength of their 5 and the quality of the imports, and they've got imports, Casey, that play both ends of the floor, haven't they?
They do. Of course, they lost McCall to an NBA tryout, but Trey Boyd has come in and was brilliant off the plane in his first game, which was, of course, against this Tuatara squad. He absolutely lit them up to the tune of, I believe, 34 points. If he has that type of success again, this will be a difficult day for the Tuatara on the back end of the double.
Wonderful opportunity for a young basketball fan who has a favourite team offshore as well as, I'm sure, here in New Zealand. They share similar colours, so I'm sure the Nuggets might feature on the merchandise sometime in the future. But great to see the young fans engaged, and a little well, a high 5 for the little man and a very low 5 there for Sam Timmins. The split here, Casey, going into this one?
The Nuggets got it. They won by 4 the first time round, so the Tuatara have that 4-point number circled if they're up late.
Let's get it on. Sal's NBL action. The tip for Otago goes straight to Iuli, but he can't control. And it is Boyd with the first exploration. Timmins wasn't expecting that pass from Withers.
Spacing was poor. He wanted the on-ball. Withers decided to pass it to him.
Withers, Trey Boyd now. Withers with the 3-ball early.
And Todd Withers will let it fly from deep. If he is hitting with a little bit of strength, the Nuggets are nearly unbeatable. But if he's missing those shots, they become very mortal.
Dante Nance, I mentioned, questionable as Rob Lowe. Let's fly. Rob Lowe finds his rhythm.
This is exactly the way the game started for him against the Southland Sharks. An early catch. The opposing center doesn't want to come out, doesn't challenge. Rob Lowe with the quick trigger, very active offensively.
So Rob Lowe not involved with the Tall Blacks camp. That win over the Philippines during the week. He chose to just sit that one out. I say chose, I'm sure he would have been in contention. And a good touch there from Aitchison.
Wow, great touch from Aitchison after the huge block on the other end by Rob Lowe ignited the break.
Boyd, Aitchison, baseline, back for Timmins.
Oh, wow. That's a lovely pass by Josh Aitchison. Really threaded the needle nicely, but nothing like a little bit of sewing early to get you on the scoreboard.
And Timmins make sure he stayed alive and was available.
Rob Lowe was searching for the 3rd row there, which is tough on the baseline. They don't even have rows.
No rows, no people, just an open door.
The Tuatara found a lot of success cutting without the basketball against the Sharks a couple of days ago. They were so active off the ball that I would expect to see them try and get some similar results tonight. But that first one, a poor pass, leads to a turnover.
Boyd, oh, lovely. Oh, I thought that may well have been dropping in until Timmins tried to help and smacked it off the glass.
Tried to thieve some points, instead thieved them from his own team.
Schneider, who has been impressing, he's really started to find his offensive groove.
He looks a different player than came off the plane and participated in his first couple of games. So much more confidence in the shot.
3 ball, Withers no good.
It's 0 for 2 now, despite a decent look. Transition active.
Good finish, Iuli off the Schneider assist.
I might expect a timeout soon from the Nuggets. This is poor defensive effort. Those shots that they're hitting are just too easy. As we see, Keith Williams will be checking in the game soon because of that lack of defensive ability. What is going on with these passes?
I'm sure earlier, and Coach Brent Matahari had intended Dalton Iuli, who is an energy player for the Tuatara. Mentioned Russo Nance with that ankle concern as they go upstairs. Rob Lowe decided not to try and get up and put that one home, and was blocked as a result.
Timmins on one side, Withers on the other. He thought he'd made the wise choice, turned out to be bad as well.
And then the blocking foul on Rob Lowe, so he is stuffing the stat sheet for the right and wrong reasons.
Trey Boyd was just unstoppable on penetration a few weeks ago when these two teams met for the first time. We see a little bit of it there. Rob Lowe tries to step over just a bit late. Boyd gets the shot up, doesn't hit it. Off to the Resine he goes.
Always tough coming in partway through a season, especially when you are replacing someone who, in the brief time that he was with his roster, was lighting it up. But Trey Boyd settled in nicely.
Came in fantastically. Had a tough one. Second game out. Did the Nuggets. Really couldn't hit the shot at all. They lost their last game to the Rams of Canterbury due to 3 for 28 shooting from beyond the arc. So if that is replicated, this will surely be a Tuatara victory.
Lowe, same spot that he fired successfully from earlier. He was shut down. That's a long 2 for Russo Nance. Tried to bank it home. And good hands, active hands, Iuli.
Bad signs for the Nuggets as we see a nice easy cut, but already the first 4 minutes we're seeing a lack of attention to detail by the Nuggets. And it's starting to look very similar to a win this Tuatara team had just a couple days ago.
And Brent Matahari still sat down, so he's not felt the urgency to get up out of his seat, let alone call for a timeout at this stage. Good battle between the two bigs. We see them here, Rob Lowe and Sam Timmins. Timmins, of course, was a part of that Tall Black lineup in the 46-point win over the Philippines. Rob Lowe very much a part of the Tall Blacks family. So there'll be a little question of bragging rights perhaps between those two players. Lowe shoots from a long way out. That is part of his kit bag. And Williams against Lowe. Good defense.
Rob Lowe all over the arms of Williams. No whistle blown. Schneider to take advantage in transition.
Oh, in flow. That is pretty.
I just don't understand. Where's the timeout? They're not picking guys up in transition. There's no communication between the teammates. These are simple mistakes that need to be corrected.
Timmins. Schneider trying to get a hand into the handoff there. Boyd gets to the Resine and floats that one home.
Wow, that looked easy, but it was not. Heck of a shot made.
Well, again, oh, the finish was blocked by Withers, but really that's all that saved the Nuggets blushes again. It was poor D.
I just don't see the work rate from the Nuggets. Right now, the Tuatara probably should have a bigger lead.
Iuli drives into the paint. He can finish.
Unable to shut down the drive. Brady Iuli is enjoying a breakout couple of weeks. As Williams drives hard to the cup. An aggressive player. I think his mindset is extremely key to how this Otago Nugget squad plays. And look at Tatch drive right into the chest of Iuli.
So it's 5 minutes that really has rushed by, especially for the Nuggets, who find themselves trailing by 8.
They're rotating guys pretty quickly here. You've seen substitution patterns that we haven't seen a lot. For the most part, this is a team that has relied 35 minutes around for their starters. Just taking quick breaks, but as fatigue is set in games of late, maybe he's looking, Coach Brett Matahare might be looking to change that strategy.
So Nance curls, finds Rob Lowe in the corner. That is great offense, but where was the hand in front of Rob Lowe?
Sam Timmons in no man's land, not helping on the drive, not helping on the shooter. You got to do one or the other.
Boyd to reply, and he does.
Well, they needed that badly just to get a little confidence up and keep some pressure on this Tuatara squad that is lighting it up early.
I think you're right, Casey. It's only 6 points the lead. Make it 8, but it feels like it could be a hell of a lot worse here for the Nuggets.
So smooth as Dante Russo-Nance, afraid to put the ball pressure on should have been driven by.
Again, Rob Lowe, both ends of the floor, the big man.
Sam Timmons needs to check himself on that shot.
Schneider all the way to the top floor.
And the Nuggies about to get doubled up as the Tuatara looking great.
And another rebound, another fast break opportunity. And a foul here from Boyd, really, just to try and slow the entire afternoon down.
Finally, the timeout called. But not even sure if this one was called by Coach Brett Matahare.
Might well be one for us.
Yeah,
good old-fashioned TV timeouts.
Waiting for that one for a while. Oh, look, if I'm coaching this team right now, I'm calling that timeout early and I'm setting them straight. This effort isn't up to par. You're being outworked. We saw what they did to a team that they outworked just a couple of nights ago. It doesn't matter if we're more talented. We're playing like the least talented team right now, and a young Tuatara squad is showing no fear and dominant early in this one.
And gosh, a player, Casey, I'm not sure if I've made mention. In fact, I am sure I haven't made mention at all of Taki Farrenson. This good start for the Tuatara without his influence.
Yeah, it is something that a change in the lineup, sending him back to the bench since his return from Tall Blacks camp. He did, of course, have a lot to say in the wins, but I think it's defensively it's key for him. If he can do a good job defensively and affect things there, his offense will come eventually, but right now it's all about Siler Schneider, who's really filling it up with 9 points of his own, backed up well. Rob Lowe with a couple of triples. He's got 6, 2 for Russo-Nance and the 4 for Braden Yulee.
So Farrenson out on the floor now. So too, I think, Nick Barrow. There's Barrow. So Casey Frank alluding to the fact that Barrow will play significant minutes. I think he was around that 20-minute mark against the Sharks. Vastly more experienced, of course, than Charlie Dalton.
And a bit of a load inside to try and keep out of the paint and the rebounding.
Schneider gets it back. Shoots from a long way out. Tried to bank that home. That would have rubbed salt into this this wound that has been inflicted early.
Best defensive possession of the game for the Nuggets. Can they build on it on this end? A little bit slow in developing the play, though.
Boyd trying to heat up, get his side back in it.
And this was the issue with their three-point shots in their last time out, not created by any ball movement. What a move by Nance.
Yeah, did everything but. Got to a favored spot, but came up a little short. Boyd, baseline. Farrenson with the good defensive work. Knox on the floor, and Rob Lowe, is that 2 or 3 blocks early on for Lowe? He is having an influence. Although, to be fair, if he's going to block anyone, he should block Darcy Knox.
Darcy Knox on the drive, but the reason he's able to get that block is because of the poor spacing the Nuggets had. You could see early in the set, Keith Williams was trying to wave Trey Boyd through to the other side. It doesn't come. There's multiple weak side help defenders that can come over and cover Rob Lowe's man, leaving him free to challenge the shooter.
Schneider, who is just showing to be one of the more astute purchasers in the Sal's NBL.
And this is one-way traffic. The Nuggets absolutely no answer for the aggression of the Tuatara on the rim. Schneider already with 11.
And Jack Andrew on the floor with Sam Timmons having a break. Andrew gets a board, gets another, can't get a third. There's Dalton back on the floor. He gets into the paint. It was, oh, goodness me. How is Schneider allowed to simply rebound that without a player near him?
Lack of attention to detail. Nobody looking at their man and ball, just staring at the ball. An easy cut, an easy finish because nobody's putting their body on the line.
It's resembled something of a scrimmage here, really. It's just another turnover, this time by Knox, but you know, very few fouls. The intensity just not there from the Nuggets. Great cut, good pass from Barrow. Rejected, though, by Andrew.
The defense was good, but they have to get something going on this end at the basket.
McCulloch can't do so. Andrew scrambles, puts it back.
Well, excellent hustle by Withers to create that opportunity. Jack Andrews sticks with it to get it going and get it in. A little luck goes their way. Can it tumble into some more?
12 points, the margin. Farrenson, Dalton. They've just got their feet stuck in the mud a little here now. And Knox with the foul on Russo Nance.
And just playing too tight on the swing, jumping right into his airspace.
It's for the Tuatara case, he's certainly a case of part one, part two of their season. Part one with Chris Johnson, part two without. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the second part of their campaign goes.
A completely different squad as Tucky Farrenson just comes off and splashing it in McCullough's face. No defensive intensity. I'll tell you what, I'm disappointed in the effort I'm seeing from the Nuggets right now.
Now on the way to the basket for Boyd. Doesn't drop, but he will go to the Racine.
Did they know the game started at 3 and not 3:30?
Who would think it started at 3:30?
Because right now it's unsure. Boyd with a solid drive. McIntosh tries to put his body line, unable to.
And they are the fresher of the two, and maybe that's why they're a little slow out of the blocks. They hadn't played, Casey, since the 23rd of June.
They haven't played, and they're welcoming guys back into the lineup. Timmons has been at camp. McCulloch has been at 3x3, so maybe they're the guys that were still in Dunedin hadn't gotten quite as many trainings. But, you know, I look at a guy like Sam Timmons and look for him to emulate what we saw from Isaac Davidson coming out of camp last night. The game slowed down for him because of the speed of camp, and that doesn't so for Timmons just yet.
McIntosh has that basketball destroyed by Withers.
Chris McIntosh giving up close to a foot in length there. And Todd Withers just lets him know, no, you will not allowed to shoot that today.
Maybe that might be a moment to energize the Nuggets. And this is most unlike a Nuggets team and any team coached by Brent Matahare. And still, the Tuatara are literally going at 2-for-1 pace. Russo Nance gets to the elbow, makes the shot. They extend now. 16 points the lead. 30 in the first quarter.
A professional move there by Russo Nance, just getting to his spot. Defense not in his airspace, knocking down the mid-ranger.
Withers. Timmons inside, reaching in was Barrow.
Pretty fortunate that wasn't a turnover when you're passing to Timmons on that seal. Got to go high. Came a bit low. Barrow gets his hands in there, trying to argue that he was going low, that he just hit the ball. One of these days, I'm going to see a ref change their mind when a player talks to him.
Well, especially a policeman. Especially a policeman who has the ability to follow up his conversation.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of movies. There's some dirty cops out there.
Nick Barrow and Rob Lowe, Casey, they both came out to just recharge a little bit during the week and played 9 holes of golf. And I tell you, the two of them as a 2-ball, some of the members out at Huapai Golf Club were like, what are we watching here? A couple of giraffes on our golf course. It was highly entertaining, but they enjoyed their golf. Schneider on the dribble. Barrow was an option. Now McIntosh, and that is his game. Find his spot, and where's the scout? Nobody anywhere near McIntosh.
Well, we see this shot miss at the end, but I love the play design before that. Schneider on the drive, the weak side screen as McIntosh's man completely loses sight. Otago still just too focused on the ball early.
Tuatara on fire, 33-14 first quarter here in the Edgar Centre, Dunedin. Welcome back. Do not adjust your sets. The home side, 14 points. So that in itself is a concern. But how about the 33 they've let in? The Auckland Tuatara. Kirk Penny may well be watching. Kirk, just put the shoes away, fella. Don't need you. 33 points. That is an incredible output, but I know it's got you hot under the collar, Casey. There's not been enough defense.
Yeah, I just don't like what they're giving up. I'd like to see a little bit more fortitude, a little bit more physicality, and offensively, there just doesn't seem to be much of a plan. Not getting the penetration they need. Can they turn it around after chatting about things in the first quarter? That remains to be seen, but I love the way the Tuatara are playing. It is on them the way the game's going right now.
And Rob Lowe is, along with Schneider, he's just putting this young team on his shoulders, and there are shoulders that can carry you to pretty good heights. And as Schneider goes exploring, checks back out again. McCulloch, good D.
Oh, look at that catch.
Oh, wow. Reach out and drag it in.
Well, when you're playing well, you make your own luck. That could have easily been a turnover, as we see the foul up top by McIntosh goes in. But the Tuatara, because of their hustle, because of their mindset, things are going the right way. And a lot of it has to do with the offense as well. Make no mistake, this Nuggets team is shooting 4 for 20 right now and 3 for 14 from the three-point line. That is just not a recipe for anything good. And make it 4 for 21.
McIntosh with the rebound. It's absolutely no excuse. It's something of a mystery as to the apparent lack of motivation. Withers might get the crowd out of their seats here. Oh, he was on the way, wasn't he? And Schneider just said, no highlight reel here.
But honestly, even that, I'm slightly disappointed in. You've got a guard in front of you. Where's the strength? It's beautiful defense. He reacts nicely. He comes here, but he's going up like there's going to be nothing there. You got to protect the ball. You got to expect the guard to come in. If you take the contact and one, every point counts right now. It does look more like a training run for the Nuggets than it does a game that they desperately need to keep pace with the top two.
Yeah, and Casey, that's exactly where I was going before that fast break, is that the Nuggets, we looked at the ladder. They're in the heart of this scramble for the top six. They are 6 and 5, and they're sitting in 4th place. 8th on the table is 5 and 7. That's how close it is. They should be desperate.
They should be, but that is not what we're seeing from the team in blue. The Tuatara, however, they're playing cleanly, they're playing sharply, sharing the basketball, and getting the results they desire.
Yuli in the curl, Withers for company. And it's a battle of two strong men.
Oh, I was almost positive that went off Yuli's hand, but Withers, solid defensively, hasn't been going for him well on the offensive end, but he is locking people down. His second block of the game.
So Nance on McCulloch, steps back, finds that spot again.
Look at the space he created with the behind-the-back crossover. And you got McCulloch frozen. That is a beautiful move by the 17-year-old.
Yeah. Goodness me. I don't believe you.
You forget, don't you?
I don't believe you. 17. You have to be reminded, don't you?
Sam Timmons bouncing everywhere. 17 back again.
Literally backing in. Withers collects the promising young New Zealand guard. Foul is called.
I got to say, I am shocked by this scoreline right now. This is surprising. Look at the Nuggets. Everybody hands on knees, tired, fatigued. 2 minutes into the second quarter.
And I know it's not necessarily in Brent Matahare's DNA, but he too is quite calm. I mean, sometimes teams need a bit of a shock, don't they?
Yeah, you know, you're looking at it now and the way these guys are playing, starting to have a look of a team that just hasn't had a lot of training lately.
Oh, and the foul. Oh, this just keeps getting worse.
This is looking like it's going to be a 40-piece. The way this is going, and the only sounds we hear in the gym are the Tuatara congratulating each other. I mean, what are you passing to? That is completely red. There's no movement offensively. I don't actually think Withers had much contact there.
What has been less than acceptable is turning decidedly average for the Nuggets here. And no wonder there's animation, and Rob Lowe's playing coach at the moment. And and I'm sure with his experience, you alluded to it, Casey, he's got a young team around him. He will be very much trying to keep feet on the ground, figuratively, if not literally. He just wants his young players, okay, long way to go here. Just keep enjoying it, keep doing the right things.
Yeah, I mean, change nothing if you're Coach Aaron Young. Keep it going. They're in passing lanes. They're aggressive offensively while still sharing the basketball. They're making the one-on-one moves when they have to, but move it around. And you don't see the same level of one basketball. The play is flowing into action, forcing the defenders to be maladjusted, and then they're attacking. On the other side, I can't remember the last high-quality shot that the Nuggets got. You know, there has been nothing open. The offense is not really doing anything for them. And, you know, up to this point, the Nuggets, yeah, like I was saying, they look like a team that hasn't trained. We do know that Keith Williams was questionable with illness, possibly not the only one that had illness run through him.
Yeah, Timmins would have been away all week. McCulloch not long back from 3x3, but you've got
excuses.
Absolutely, yeah, you've got to get over that.
25 down. Where's the heart? Where's the hustle? Got to see it.
Farrenson for the and one on the fast break dunk. And makes it.
Will there be any response for the Nuggets? That's really just the question right now. Not even if they can make it a game, but just respond.
Willis with a catch and shoots. Needed that.
Boy, did they need a three to drop down. That is now 4 for 17 from the arc early in this one. Just over reliant on the three-pointer. 17 of their 23 shots.
Wow, 17 three-ball attempts in 12 minutes.
And this is for a team that shot 3 for 28 last time out. I'd be looking somewhere inside the three-point line.
McCulloch drives. That's better. Timmins made the room, set the pathway, and McCulloch was good enough to see it. And immediately Aaron Young says, I don't like this. So a different approach from the two coaches as well.
Great response. I asked for a response. There's one. 5 straight points. Boyd nearly steals the ball. Would have if the timeout was not called. Great timeout by Aaron Young. He's seen enough. He knows, hey, what happened? It's sliding the other direction. Yes, we've got him doubled up. But this game ain't over. There's 28 minutes left to play. They can easily come back and get this in the end if we don't play the way we can.
Andrew Dewhurst and Casey Frank bringing you this Cells NBL coverage. I hope you're enjoying it. Presented by GJ Gardner Homes. If you missed the news on social media today and prior to this one, Kirk Penny has been signed by the Tuatara for the remainder of the regular season. Won't be eligible for the playoffs if they qualify. But good experienced vet, to say the least, to bring in. Casey, this is not completely from the cold, though. Kirk's still getting the sneakers on and playing some ball, yeah?
Yeah, still going to come and play. He has been playing a little bit. He's playing some 3x3 in some of the national tournaments. And, you know, having seen him recently at Tallback's camp when we both visited, he is looking in fantastic shape as always. And I'll tell you one thing that I know still works, that right arm shooting jumpers. No doubt about that.
Yeah, and the top 2 inches. I mean, he's such a clever basketball brain as well to bring to a roster. 41 years of age now, but I'm not sure, does that, will he... Trying to think, Aaron Bailey-Knoll, I think Aaron might be 40. Another 3-ball, Farrenson from the corner.
Love how they get Schneider the ball on the run, attacking the defense, just draws everybody in, and no one to challenge the Farrenson triple.
Otago go through traffic. Schneider foul from Boyd.
When was the last time we saw an extra pass from the Nuggets? You know, Keith Williams, I like the mindset. I know somebody has to be aggressive to the rim, but that's not an easy shot, and none of his teammates are helping him out. You've got the on-ball action between him and Timmins, and 3 guys outside the three-point line just standing around. Need some more movement, need some more activity. Schneider on the run again, into the on-ball.
Rob Lowe having his way.
Farrenson loves the corners.
Not that one. Oh, great pass. Iuli was into traffic. Kicks it back out. Farrenson. There's an extra 2 or 3 passes from the Tuatara, giving them another look. Oh, thought Iuli had a steal as well. Not quite.
Oh, great look, great work offensively after the second chance.
Timmins goes to work, but Rob Lowe has just owned both ends of the floor. Yuli, it's a checking foul there as Yuli got set to drive.
Well, a better response from the Tuatara. They come out with 4 straight. Sam Timmins. When you need buckets, you know, I'd rather see something strong and powerful going through the chin of the defender and trying to extend and get a layup on the other side. And there we see Rob Lowe taking advantage of poor defense again by Timmins. No help on the screen, no chat, no bumping. The man for the ball gets his rebound. Easy bucket.
Well, it's early doors yet, but as Withers again, that's a better offensive set with an open look for 3, but can't make it.
From the Tuatara, I said, go ahead, shoot all day. You guys couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat.
Lowe. Timmins this time with the closeout, but Lowe can't make the bucket, and that's better. Force Rob Lowe off that dribble to make something happen rather than an open look at 3. So the Tuatara with 47 points in just over 14 minutes of basketball. Do we start talking about the 131 that Taranaki scored a couple of weeks ago against the Jets? I mean,
definitely. That's might as well talk about 200 with defense like that. They're going to score 1,000.
I think there was a tweet went out that said they had about 3,000 in the first quarter. But
it seems like it. It seems like it's even more now.
McCulloch, 26 points, the lead for the Tuatara. Withers, they settle.
I mean, what is going on? Like, yeah, this is strange. I'm dismayed. I'm really dismayed about what's going on here. The Tuatara dominant. What a performance.
Yeah, dismayed as a purist, but if you're a Tuatara fan watching this, you're delighted. There's Williams, who really perhaps shouldn't be out on the floor. He was struggling with illness, and he's now charged straight into the good defensive positioning of Schneider. Offensive foul.
Yeah, I am the only thing I can think of with the performance that we're seeing, that, to be frank, I just don't see a way for them to get out of this hole as of now. Is there, I would hope that there has been something that's happened through the team this week that's affected their conditioning, their effort, because it's certainly like something it is. If this just is just a matter of mindset and the way they're coming in for an afternoon game, that is sincerely disappointing.
Well, other than the Williams illness, there's nothing that we have been made aware of.
I do need, the guys from the 3x3, I think, returned on Thursday, so McCulloch's only had a couple of trainings with this squad since then. Coach Brett Matahade is spending a lot of time talking to the refs there, but this ain't the refs. You can complain about some calls. Maybe they're not perfectly accurate at all times, but this isn't the officiating. This is all what's right behind that Otago number on the jersey, right there in the center of your chest. It's got to start beating a little thicker.
Yes, Coach Matahade was perhaps saying to the rest, could you tech me? Could you just tech me, and that might fire my boys up, because that might be the only way he would get teched. He's such an easygoing coach, but they need something. They need a spark. They need something to happen. I'm going to have a look at the numbers that the Tuatara are putting up here in a minute, just to emphasise that they are making every post a winner, despite the apparent lack of intensity. Tuatara shooting at 52% from the floor, 50% from three-point range. They've only been to the free throw line on 3 occasions, so there's no sort of massive defensive effort they're having to get through, but their numbers are very good.
Four minutes left, 26 points the difference. To have any real hope, they need to make some inroads now.
Certainly get it below 20, you would think, at the half, and then piece by piece, bite by bite, eat that elephant in the second half. And that one is deflected Tuatara ball.
Yeah, it looks like it got deflected, then deflected a second time by Williams as things continue to just roll the Tuatara direction.
And I guess, Casey, the Tuatara looking reasonably good to overturn that 4-point deficit from the first game if they want to get the split here. And it's likely, the way that ladder is at the moment, that you know, splits between teams is going to shuffle the pack and maybe see someone miss out on the 6.
Yeah, and no team, no matter where you are in the ladder, is safe at this point. There's so much water to go under these bridges.
McIntosh, whose minutes have just quietened down a little since the start of the season. Dalton with a travel.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a travel, but it did look a bit awkward, and when a move looks awkward like that, it often just doesn't go your way.
Boyd.
Bardsley with the mismatch.
Misses with the left hand.
Oh, and that looks like that could be Withers, the way he dropped down and grabbed his shoulder.
Is it the shoulder that's already strapped? Just keep a very close eye on the American. But we are starting to see some signs of hand waving and shoulder shrugging and chatting to referees. And that one drops. That might help his mood.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people displaying their upsetness with what's going on, but I don't see anybody pointing the finger at themselves. As Withers gets the charge. I think Yuli extended that arm.
Yeah, Withers took up the invitation, didn't he?
Yeah, looking at you, you seem to think it was a flop.
Well, he's a big unit, he's a big man, and suddenly he went down like a feather.
He's all right, though.
As you say, Casey, and we've talked about it a lot, that as soon as you extend that lead arm, if you're the offensive player, it's generally going to go against you.
And I actually think he took a shot to the head, so I think that's why it went down so far. I think what wasn't heavy, but it was to above the shoulder, I believe.
Williams. Boyd drives and makes the bucket over Yuli.
There we go. A couple of passes, attack the defense. Wow, it's easier that way.
24 points. Can they get it below 20? Small mercies, I know, but it might give Brent Matahari something to cling to in the halftime chat. That's a favourite spot for Farrenson, and he lights it up again.
Yeah, I think if I've seen a guy hit 2 threes from that corner, I might keep an eye on him. Withers watching the ball lose his sight just long enough to give Farrenson the time to hit it. Settling again. One pass in the half court, no penetration. If the basketball doesn't start to do a little bit of this work for the Nuggets, I'm not even sure where things are going to be building in the right direction.
And the scoreboard can do funny things, but they do look gassed.
They look gassed, man. I mean, honestly, it does seem like a team that just hasn't been training. And that could be because of the sickness that may have been going through. No Timmons this week. No McCulloch until Friday, but they're gasping for oxygen on the sideline.
So, just
they're doubled up.
Slowed things down, but yes, still it is a 2-for-1 for the Tuatara.
And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm underestimating the Tuatara. The last 2 performances they've had, they absolutely shut down the Sharks. The scoreline ended up being around 10, but it was never, ever that close. And in this one, they have come in and just dominated defensively. I mean, I hate to think I'm putting all the blame on the Nuggets and not giving that credit to the team who really deserves it, who's come out in the second leg of a double, a team that I thought was going to be fatigued today, and has been thoroughly dominant in the first half. 52% from the field, 53% from 3. Haven't missed a 3. 31 rebounds going against 13 for the opposition. That is,
and that's energy. That's effort.
That is 31 to 13. How do you have 13 rebounds in a game that's had
in your home gym
40 some odd misses? They're just they've given up 10 offensive rebounds. The Tuatara have had half their missed shots come back to them.
Farrenson comes up short. Well, the other you know, let's put it into the context of the weekend, Casey. The Tuatara had dropped 4 in a row and head south, and they look the best of bets right now to go 2-0 on the road.
They do. And coming into the weekend, the way they had been playing, the fact that their import wasn't be able to make it, I thought this was going to be, looking at it as an outsider, that this was a weekend where they could fold, where they could go lose 2, and that could be the season. But how about the response by this Tuatara franchise?
Farrenson flies by him, but he runs into trouble. Also, Nance was on the lookout for another one of those special passes. He steals it at the other end. McIntosh, 3-on-1. And they go to Farrenson, and he shoots that 3 ball from that side of the floor. That was the heat check.
Schneider gets another offensive rebound. They're playing a different game.
Shot clock at 5 seconds. McIntosh. Rob Lowe gets it up quickly. Another 14 seconds. Another guard with another offensive board.
They're getting more than 50% of their missed shots back.
Rosso Nance gets to his shooting spot. It's too easy. It is too easy.
And now the Nuggets not running the court, or 1-on-1 basketball, gets a bucket in. So at least that's positive.
The good news is they're set on defense, because no one went with Boyd to the other end of the floor. Aitchison, cheap foul. Schneider will go to the line. They're in the penalty.
Anyone? Yeah. I don't know. I think we could go ahead and I'd be chalking this one up for the Tuatara right now. This one's a dub.
That's as early as I have ever heard Casey Frank call it.
Yeah. Normally I like to see on the bright side of things, and possibly the Nuggets go in at halftime and find the answers. But at this point, I just don't see it. This is a dominant performance by the Tuatara. We're just steamrolling this road trip. And Schneider again. After some, oh, no, he doesn't. The shooter getting the offensive rebound? Oh, come on. Like,
I'm not sure the game clock or shot clock has restarted here, so the Tuatara will have possession. The referees will just sort that out. But,
I can't remember the last time I saw the shooter miss a shot and get the rebound at the rim. It's not like it bounced back to him at the free throw shot. He just outquicked and outworked everyone to the ball under the rim to get it back. I mean, this just a complete and total lack of attention to detail by the Nuggets right now, and they are being dominated.
Well, if there's 2 seconds to encapsulate what we've seen in this first half, that was it. That was it. Schneider with the inbounds to Farrenson. 30 seconds left. There's off balance and off target from the American. Aaron Young still urging his players on now to defensive intensity for what might be the final time in this half for the Tuatara. McIntosh putting pressure on McCulloch. The shot clock gets down to 8 before they even look like getting into an offensive set. And then all it is one-on-one basketball. Schneider has help from Farrenson, does not need him. Silas Schneider brings up 60. Can you believe it? If you're a Nuggets fan, you don't want to. It's a nightmare. For the Tuatara, this is the stuff of dreams. Look at that halftime score in the Cells NBL. Tuatara 60, the Nuggets 29. Stay with us. Casey Frank and I will do our best to try and figure it all out. Welcome back to a shell-shocked Edgar Sender. They are throwing the money about, and someone here at half-time has done okay. But I tell you what, it's picking themselves up in the dressing room that's got to be addressed for the Nuggets, because that scoreline is not a misprint. We've had a few stats go haywire during the first half, but that one hasn't. That's accurate. Andrew Dewhurst alongside Casey Frank, 60-29. We do our best to try and figure this out. We can only call what we're seeing, folks, and what we're seeing in the first half is a very lackluster Nuggets side. In the effort areas, they're just not there. Silas Schneider leading the way. Farronson got hot off the bench. Risso Nance has found his shooting spots.
Rob Lowe and Yuli as well. Timeliness, just poor shooting day for the Nuggets. 10 for 36 from the field, 2 for 11 from the three-point stripe. As we see the rebounds, Rob Lowe already with 11. He has been dominant on the glass, and they need him to be not the great effort, but 14 rebounds total for the Nuggets compared to 36 for the Tuatara.
That is a damning statistic. It really is. Risso Nance is dishing them off as well, so too Schneider. And they are looking for the extra pass. They're playing team basketball, the Tuatara.
And those 4 assists on the left are the only 4 assists that the Nuggets have as a team. 4 assists on their 10 made buckets. Not going to get it done.
That's about the only sign of energy from the Nuggets is 4 block shots from Withers.
Yeah, Withers has made it tough when on the point of attack, when people have been driving at him. And then we see some of the turnovers as well. 7 turnovers total for the Nuggets, and 5 of them coming off the steals from the Tuatara.
And that's one stat that they are better than the Tuatara. Tuatara have turned the ball over on 8 occasions, but they're doing whatever they want at will without, it seems, any resistance, the Tuatara. Their numbers back that up. 51% from the floor, from the 3, 7 of 15 at 46%. So they've found their range, but they must feel like they're just playing in a fairly relaxed scrimmage here this afternoon. Can the Nuggets turn this around second half?
Well, anything's possible. You can go in and you can find that will that was missing in the first half, and you know they're coming out quickly. You can see it. They must have gotten the spray, and now it's come out to go back to work. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see them come out and find that work rate, but that is reasonably unlikely at this point.
It's a little shocking for the home fans, but they've not left the building. They are staying and hoping for a basketball miracle. Make sure you stay with us as well, because if it plays out that way, I'd hate for you to miss it. Stay with us. Second half in the Cells NBL is coming up next. Welcome back to the Cells NBL, presented by GJ Gardner Homes. So we're at the Edgar Centre in Dunedin, and it is the home side having the proverbial handed to them here at the moment, the Auckland Tuatara. News today that they've made something of a shock signing, not the most predictable signing. We talked to people at the start of the campaign. Kirk Penny is going to come out of retirement for the last 4 regular season games. Just to clarify, if you've missed our conversations earlier, he will not be eligible for the playoffs. So very much injury cover. And we know that Dan Fortu is out injured at the moment. Chris Johnson has headed away on some 3x3 international duty. But this is not what we expected going into this contest. So we both thought, Casey, that at home the Nuggets arguably had more to prove, more to play for here.
This is a team with 3 imports, with a tall black in Sam Timmons, with a 3x3 tall black, Nico McCulloch. They've been solid up to this point in the season, and they're playing a team who played 2 days ago, who only has the 1 import and has a really young backcourt, doesn't have multitudes of their signings from the year. And this Tuatara team that says, yeah, stuff all that, we're here to win. They've come in, outworked, out-hustled, certainly out-executed the Nuggets at every step. And the Nuggets have had absolutely no response. And that's a disappointed team, but you got 20 minutes. You can put your nose to the grindstone and see what can happen. It's not going to happen in 5 minutes. It's not going to happen in 15. It probably won't happen in 20. But if you work your way through, it is possible, stage by stage. If you're down, when I've been in games when I've run into a buzzsaw and you're down at this amount, you can't be thinking about the end. You have to be thinking about these next couple of minutes. What can we do in this next couple of minutes? Can we jump the gun here? Can we score? Can we get a 6-0 run? Can we start getting 6-2 runs, 6-0 runs? Can we just score in bunches and start digging away at this? Who's bringing these guys together? Who's bringing this group in and saying, hey, don't quit working? Where's our heart? Where's our hustle? Where's this pride to be a Nugget in front of the home crowd that hasn't seen us in a while? Let's go out there and just work. Let's outwork this team that should be tired. Hey, let's see if they rest on their laurels a little bit. Anything to get this going. You gotta search for the answers. You gotta dig deep.
And it starts with this possession. They have to try and get stops and get them one by one. Timmons with the hard show, and Withers with a hand in there on Rob Lowe.
Lucky you got it. That would have been a bucket as well.
So Nance, great pass, Rob Lowe, and the rejection from Timmons. Just bounced out over the baseline, but effort levels, Casey, do you like it in the first 15 seconds?
Lifted, best rotation of the day, and you see a good rotation, they get a stop. Now can they complete it? No, they can't.
Rob Lowe with the easy layup.
This is simple action. I mean, that's just an up screen where you could probably switch, you could at least bump, but just too easy for the finish.
Boyd on Schneider creates the room and makes the bucket. Nice.
It's always good to see the buckets go through, but I want to see that ball go through hands. Make the defense work as a team.
Yuli drives and gets the foul out of Williams.
He'll be shooting on that. Foul called on the shot. Keith Williams disappointed. Wants to stay in the game despite picking up his 2nd personal foul.
And Keith Williams was the only Nuggets player that came into this with a sickness questionable, and he'd been ill.
Coming into the game, he was questionable with illness, and Dante Russo-Nance seemed to have tweaked an ankle in that first game of the week. He was questionable with an ankle injury, both playing, as you can see, because we're talking about them and they're scoring.
And Russo-Nance, though, has the luxury that if they maintain this margin, he may get to sit early and rest that ankle. A little surprised as Williams tries the triple, and there's a rebound, offensive board. 2, he's stuffing the stat sheet now, Timmons.
Hey,
but there's some effort. Hey. And a steal. Here we go, the Nuggets. McCulloch. Oh, they're on fire, the Nuggets. The best 20 seconds they've had.
Well, it started with a defensive effort. Now, can they build on it? It doesn't have to stop here.
Barrow, and a block shot there from Williams. Something for the crowd to cheer about. Boyd thought about it. and he goes anyway. Oh, the Nuggets, does Aaron Young call time?
No, he's going to let this one play out, let them figure it out on the court. And in all honesty, this is the performance I expected from the Nuggets, hence why I'm so disappointed. But they're getting it going now.
Rosso Nance, an easy cut, gets to his spot, and he's got a few of them.
I love how the Tuatara move without the basketball. They never leave the driver on an island. They're always creating angles to give the ball handler options.
Timmins against Barrow. Timmins goes to work, bumps bodies again. Where was it early?
Better spacing, good work in the post, doesn't settle for the fadeaway.
Barrow all alone. Timmins went with the hard show and got exposed as a result.
Yeah, he's all the way up there, but that's the call. Somebody else has to come over and give him a bump or give him help. There's no way he can go from showing to back to his man as the receiver on the first pass.
Better though from the Nuggets, and a whistle. There's something off the ball. I think they're looking at Nick Barrow.
Yeah, definitely Nick Barrow having a little grab on Timmins as he's trying to roll. And that's a little hold that occurs often in the game, but he gets pinged for it there.
Just the energy in the gym, Casey, on the back of
Just
30 seconds of effort.
Doesn't take much.
Withers kicks it out. McCulloch drives. Rosso Nance can't stay with him.
Penetrating, kicking it back out, but not settling for throwing up the three. Still putting pressure on defenders going to the hole. Really appreciate the change in mindset from halftime.
Schneider, who was so good in the first half. Iuli always does everything with energy, pace. Schneider, shot clock down to 4, shoots the 3 ball and shoots it effectively. Goodness me, he was travel weary clearly in the first couple of games that he played. He could not find his shot, but he is developing into one of the weapons in the Cells NBL. As Williams replies.
And a nice on ball on this side. On the other, Siler Schneider continuing his efficient best. I believe he is 8 for 11 from the field now. That is correct for his 19 points.
Barrow is the big on the floor with Rob Lowe resting. Farrinson, he drives through bodies, gets it up, draws contact.
Just a quick correction on my stat, 19 points for Siler Schneider. Yeah, that was correct. As we see the drive again, here's the foul.
Take your pick there, one of 2 players with contact.
But you see the help coming over without taking away the driving lane. They're in the vicinity, but you got to get all the way over there, put your body on the line, get on the train tracks, force him to pull off his line. You don't. That's why he's able to get himself fouled on his way to the cup and hits the Razine, hits the first. Chance in the second.
Tuatara just looking to weather the Nuggets storm at the start of the third. In the context of this game, it's been an absolute onslaught from the Nuggets. And the challenge, of course, is to maintain that energy. Play by play.
They're +5 here in the third so far. That's a step in the right direction.
Withers, a long way out to Boyd, and gosh, there's so much time left on the shot clock.
But where's the bodies on the offensive glass with a shot like that? You don't expect it to go up, so nobody in position to rebound as well.
A lot of movement here. Farrinson with the look at 3.
Oh my, outworked again. 3 blue jerseys looking at it, and Brady Iuli chasing it down.
Iuli, can he benefit from his own hard work? Yes, he can.
Karma, baby. I do the hustle. I got the extra possession. Feed me back. Schneider does so, drawing defenders, and Iuli stretches it back out to 30.
Boyd. A bit of one-on-one basketball initially with Schneider, and the pass to Timmins. Good strength, gets right under the hoop.
And he's getting a bit more comfortable and some rhythm with the ball in hand as the game goes along. But it's all about this end for the Nuggies.
Rosso Nance, Farrinson. Constant movement from the Tuatara. Shot clock down to 4-3. They're showing good patience under pressure though. Good defense, the Nuggets.
Nice outlet, Boyd on his own.
And nice work on that basketball for the finish.
He can be tremendous in transition. The quick outlet, the quick finish. Boyd back in it.
Schneider lucky not to get called for that one. Williams, sickness or not, he climbs.
And back to 24. The defensive pressure turns it on. I'd love to see the Otago defenders up on the ball and forcing those kind of tough passes.
And the work rate is noticeably improved. Russo Nance, that'll break your heart. To rebound Withers, that's better. Crash those boards, both ends. Williams.
Wow, he's taking on everybody in a white jersey. Nobody really running with him. And, you know, I can't help but look around at the guys on knees. I just feel like illness must have gone through this Nuggets team this week. That is the only thing that makes sense to me, because they are so fatigued when they put the balls on the ball on the floor and really push the pace for a couple of minutes. You just see them gasping for air as that goes along.
Yeah, and perhaps that combined with the fact they haven't played since the 23rd of June, so you know, game legs have just left them for a couple of reasons perhaps. But certainly credit the Nuggets. They've come out having had a chat in the sheds at half-time, and they've shown renewed vigor, energy, and better levels of execution.
It's a step in the right direction. They've come out here, they're +7 in the quarter. I mean, it's certainly free-flowing offensively now. They've dropped 22 in just over 5.5 minutes, 15 in the quarter for the Tuatara. And you know, to be perfectly honest, the Tuatara are going to be very happy to trade buckets the rest of this way. You know, if you want to outscore us, you know, 7 this quarter, 7 the next, that's okay. We don't have to really lock it down to the level that the Nuggets need to find a way back into the game in any real sense.
And yet, you know, the beauty of basketball, one of its many beauties, Casey, is that you know, a scoreboard can change very quickly. A team goes on a run. If the Nuggets, let's look at it from this far out, if the Nuggets can bring this down to 16-17 going into the final quarter, I mean, that has been done.
Yeah, very easily. I mean, you know, you're looking at it, there's a 24-point lead. You've got essentially 15 minutes to go. So you're looking for around 2 points a minute in this next 10 to get yourself in striking distance down the stretch. If you can cut it down to 4 points with about 5 minutes to go, you're in great shape. So what does that look like? That's a bucket a minute that you have to outscore the team. So every one that they get, you got to get 2. You have to keep that ratio in your head.
Yeah, and psychologically, of course, you've got to do it one at a time. You can't grab 20 of those possessions at once. So stay focused. Yuli creates some space. Tuatara, the response initially to this third quarter start for the Nuggets was good. They need to go again. Defense well set here for the Nuggets again. Schneider creates that space. Aitchison got a hand up. Better again from the Nuggets.
And actually some bodies flying around, coming back into the rebounds. Good signs once again.
McCulloch. Not a lot of movement around him.
Well, the offense is dropping with Boyd out of the game. He's a leading scorer with 19 out of these 53 points. And you can see how you lose him, and they're really losing their way.
Catch and shoot, Farrenson. Oh, my goodness.
Taki Farrenson playing with an ultimate level of confidence right now. 5 for 9 from the field for his 18 points.
Williams tries to respond, comes up short. So Rob Lowe with the rebound, and he's off to the races. Russo Nance ignores him. Schneider gets to one of his spots, and that's too easy.
Shot making, digging in the bag for that play. Nobody finding him in transition. It's nearly just a practice shot, working on the one dribble floater game.
And Williams kicks it out from the corner.
Just grab the ball, Josh Aitchison. Who are you smacking it to? Well, great defense by McCullough. Stepped out of bounds. He probably couldn't have grabbed that. Oh, Keith Williams on the Aitchison feed, smashes it home. He has given us some above-the-rim highlights despite the deficit in score.
25 it is again. Rob Lowe, the triple for Lowe, comes up short, and there's a reaching foul here on the Tuatara.
Farrenson picking up his first personal foul of the game. 25 points. I think at this stage, if you know, we're speaking about how do you work your way back into it. Well, 2.5 if I'm on the Nuggets, I say, hey, let's get this under 20. That's the first stage. Can we get it under 20 in this next 2.5? Can we do enough to give ourselves that realistic shot in that final 10 minutes, making it a bucket a minute to make up?
Boyd's back out there. Withers has gone for a rest, and he looked absolutely smashed off Rob Lowe.
That's a jump ball. That's called not a foul. Good call, as Rob Lowe accepted the gift and decided to try and take it. McCulloch.
Very quickly, wasn't it, as we see the G.J. Gardner replay.
Watch this. Rob Lowe turns around and says, thank you very much. Jump ball called.
So the game arrow going the way of the Nuggets.
It's too bad. That's a nice play, well executed. Fading a little bit towards the baseline, pushed him off his platform and made it a difficult make.
McIntosh on the floor for the Tuatara. It's
McCulloch, good weak side help.
Timmins
doesn't want the ball. Now he does.
Chest pass to
Oh my.
Bardsley, turned over. That's scrappy.
Well, Sam Timmins asking for fouls. You just got to catch the ball, pal.
And through some contact, Farrenson shows not only is the 3-ball working, but he can go to work with the big fellas.
Taki Farrenson is an explosive athlete. I love his game in transition. You can see why, as he goes hard to the cup there. And instead of working it back, the Tuatara are stretching it back out to 30.
.140 to play in the third quarter. Boyd. Schneider. And Boyd's, well, the foot slipped, but courtesy of a helping hand, as Rob Lowe rather unceremonious there, just steps over the prone body there of Boyd.
Yeah, Rob Lowe's always picking. even up 28, he's still picking at that scab of the opposition. Boyd certainly got fouled on that one. Tuatara playing excellent defense, not yet in the bonus or either team.
.128. I'm sure one of the challenges from Brent Matahari was, can we win a quarter? Timmins with the reverse finish.
And that reverse, vastly different to the ones we saw earlier in the first half. He's under control, he spins move, he's aware of what he's doing, and that's why he gets the finish.
Schneider, oh, it opened up. Miscommunication. Not a double dribble either. He almost appeared to carry that, did Schneider.
Gotta like that matchup.
Barrow from the Razine misses, rebound Boyd.
He got bailed out there on the hospital pass, still got it up.
Bardsley for Timmins.
Just can't force that angle. There's absolutely no angle there, just a tough decision.
Timmins, well, he go upstairs, stolen away from him. Succession of turnovers, but that one's ruled illegal.
And that was he really needed to go to his offhand in the left. He tried to spin back into his strength. Oh, foul called. Well, never mind.
Yeah, it was on the second one with Farrenson coming through and trying to steal.
But yeah, on that spin move, he's trying to go to his preferred right hand. When the finish was to his left, if he just went to that right shoulder, could have put it right up and in. Thankfully for the Nuggets fans that have decided to stay during this game, it bounced the right way. Timmins 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist right now.
And misses both from the Razine. Rousseau, Nance, Iuli turning one way then the other, and they go back out and set it up again. They've been patient at the Tuatara. Often it's been a one more pass offense. This time Rousseau Nance likes that spot. Barrow with the long board.
Well, rebounds. I think more than anything, the rebounds are the thorn in the side of the Nuggets today.
Farrenson with great footwork. Too easy though. And Yuli with the intercept. Oh, a good quarter. They are undoing much of their good work.
And just like that, a couple of brain cramps right at the end of the quarter, and the lead looks insurmountable once more heading into the fourth.
So much improved effort, but it doesn't show on the scoreboard really, but they did at least go toe-to-toe this time, the Nuggets with the Tuatara, who lead going into the final quarter by 30. Well, the scoreboard still does not make for pretty reading if you're a Nuggets fan. The Tuatara lead by 30 going into the fourth quarter. But Casey, what can you find a couple of gems for the Nuggets?
Well,
in that third quarter?
They worked a little bit hard. No, the defense intensity was good. We saw some really nice stuff when they got up and put pressure on ball handlers in the cross half court. A couple of those doubles, they got in passing lanes and forced turnovers, and that was in there at their best. When they could pick up that defensive energy and harass the ball, there hasn't been enough of that to make any kind of inroads successfully. I mean, that quarter, yes, improved effort. They won that quarter by 1, but they gave up 27 points at the same time. And when you've already given up this many, 27 is just not going to allow you a real shot, a realistic shot at working your way back towards a victory in the fourth.
Yeah, they got it back to, what, 24, 25 a couple of times, and if they'd had another run and got it under 20, maybe a different complexion.
I think, was it all the way down to 21 at one point? I'm maybe mistaken, but yeah, they worked it. They got back into the game. It was close to sort of turning it around, and we were at that stage where we're saying, hey, maybe they can cut it down a little bit further, and what's realistic, can they cut it in? But just also at the same time, smart execution once again by the Tuatara. They've been really patient, getting the ball into the hands of the guys they know and rotating guys around, everyone playing with a lot of confidence.
And I think what's taken us by surprise as well as Farrenson has his way, gets to the bucket, is that one of the hallmarks of this Sal's NBL campaign has been how competitive it is. We haven't seen many blowouts, have we, across the season?
That's an excellent point, as Withers lets it fly. And Dante Rusinance cleans it up, but there hasn't been. The talent is close, and these two teams, in terms of talent, I guess you would say are close, but I would probably lean in the direction of the Nuggets, as Rusinance tries to disprove that theory of mine.
He has basketball ability oozing from his pores.
18 points for him on 8 for 14 from the field. It's just that kind of day for the Nuggets. Even when the work rate is there and they're doing the right things, the ball's not rolling their way.
Braden Yuli, who is enjoying considerably more minutes on this roster, given their lack of personnel of late. Farrenson, it's a rare miss from Taki Farrenson. Withers wasn't keen on the one-on-one there with Rusinance.
He was quickly becoming a 1-on-4. So probably the better decision there.
Timmins on Barrow, kicks it out. Withers with the 3 ball, good.
Oh, needed that one to drop. Not just the Nuggets, but also Todd Withers as he is now 2 for 8 from behind the arc.
Still, the young fans doing their best to urge their team on.
Love a defense chant. Oh, Nick Barrow putting the moves on at the end of the shot clock. I'll give you the show and then I'm gonna go. Sam Timmons, it's a long night for Sam Timmons.
I wonder here as well as Timmons gets in the paint. Nice reverse two-handed finish.
Oh, lovely little pocket pass by Trey Boyd there. Tiptoeing on the baseline before giving it to Timmons for the layup.
That one's just bounced out of control, but the scoreboard's still very much in their control. And I think Brent Matahare just wants a word here, and I think just trying to manage the physical effort here of his team and get them, albeit limping, over the finish line in 7.5 minutes or so. For Aaron Young, not sure how many players he's travelled with. Tried to have a look at the bench. I think Tom Beattie might be there on the bench.
They've got 5 on the bench. They've got a full 5. Ruben Fitzgerald, Tom Beattie.
Charlie Dalton.
He's a starter now. Hold on.
I'm just going to say, though, for Charlie, that he might get more minutes now.
might get back in the ball game. Yeah, that's true.
Perhaps Aaron Young might take the chance, but equally, he'll enjoy making a statement here and putting the foot down.
And how about this performance of the starters in this one? And Taki Ferguson, we spoke about him and not starting, not being included in things early, but he's up to 25 points today, 8 for 13 from the field, leading scorer in the ball game.
He looks an awful lot like Rob Lowe on the stats as well, with a photo that we can see, but certainly it is Taki's numbers, isn't it, Casey, with those 25 on the back of that sweet shooting from outside.
Yeah, shooting very well. He is 4 for 8 from 3 for, as a team, the Tuatara 10 for 22, and it's that 3-point strike again. Struggle for the Nuggets. 5 for 19 from deep. Make it 5 for 20.
Back of the iron for Withers. Someone like a Taki Ferguson, I'm sure most players, if they're given the opportunity, Casey, they want to start. They want to be in a starting 5, but are some players suited to coming off the bench and bringing energy and having that rhythm straight off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, it does take a certain kind of mindset, as we see another turnover for the Nuggets before the Aluli almost finished. Russo Nance cleans it up after the foul call, but it's all depends on the guy. And there are some guys that can just come off the bench and lift their intensity to 100% immediately and not be affected by that. And there's others that they need to ease into things, and so certainly when you're on the court as a starter, you got a bit more time on your hands to have an impact on the game, and it is a thing that every coach has to weigh in when he's deciding where to put his talent on the lineup. Do I want all my guys out there, or can I bring a guy like Taki Ferguson off the bench to give us a little scoring punch instead of putting him in the starting lineup?
Rodney Yuli, 1 of 2 from the Resine free throw line. Knox. Nuggets with Timmons, Knox, Williams, Withers and Boyd on the floor. Here is Boyd, so all 3 Americans still in the heart of this one. Shot clock down to 4, has to shoot over the hand of Rob Lowe, and that's pretty imposing.
Yeah, not a lot of happening after the initial action on the play. Boyd trying to break things down, but the defense isn't really too concerned about those triples going up with the shooting percentage of the Nuggets.
Rejected by Withers.
Another one. Is that block number 4 or 5? I can't keep track.
To the elbow, Schneider. They were dropping early for the American. Boyd's a twist, a turn, a dribble. It's one-on-one stuff, and in that case, 1-on-2, and it doesn't pay.
Yeah, I think Rob Lowe might have had his hand on the ball there to get the block. Oh, Russo Nance, nice swing, easy offense, easy buckets. Unselfish play, the ball moving through hands. Just find the open man, pass it to the open man. You can shoot it, do. And now we've got Dante Russo Nance with 21 points.
35-point margin now for the Tuatara. Williams gets his own rebounds, fouled in the act. We'll go to the line, shooting 2.
It's really coming down to that first half where the Nuggets only managed 29 points in 20 minutes.
Brent Matahare just rolling out Robbie Coleman. There he is, number 5, so that may be it for one or two of the Nuggets starters. Just look in the background, look at Boyd. He looks like he's run a couple of marathons, let alone played 35 minutes of basketball.
Well, he's done well. You know, one of only 3 players on the roster for the Nuggets to be shooting over 50% right now, with his 7 for 14 shooting from the field.
And Aaron Young also going to his bench. Fitzgerald here on the floor. So both coaches might be accepting, for different reasons to be fair, that this one is in the win-loss column.
Man, what a road trip for the Tuatara. They have absolutely come up, and when they needed it most, what a slide they were on. 4 in a row, 5 of 6 after the 7-0 start. And they come down to an always difficult Southern double at this time of year, especially. July is not the time that you want to be playing basketball in the deep South.
Timeout called. Tom Beattie is on the floor as well for the Tuatara, so it's likely that you'll see Fitzgerald, Beattie, perhaps Dalton back out there for the remaining minutes in this one. And this, I remind you, folks, not only a win to propel the Tuatara further up the, well, they can't go further up the ladder, they're on top, but so they'll extend their lead, but it does confirm the split here.
They're in second.
Second?
Oh, sorry, you're right. They're on top after
the Giants lost.
After the Giants lost, so yeah, they are in first place.
But regardless, if they were to be level at the end of the campaign with the Nuggets, they'd have the split if it was head-to-head. So it's those little victories as well in the context of a very tight season.
Yeah, and the way they were dominant early, it is going to be tough for teams to come back and overcome that score discrepancy they got, because there was a time when they were winning games by an average of over 20 points per. Dominant early. Now their roster has changed a bit, but how about the adjustments on the fly by Coach Aaron Young? Could have been forgiven to be a bit concerned about the way things were headed a couple weeks ago. On the fly, doesn't get their import in this week. That's just another monkey wrench thrown into the mix, and still this team is nonplussed about it.
Have we spoken about that? What happened? What do we know?
So we do know that an import was signed up, a 4-man whose name escapes me right now, and will continue to do so because unfortunately he missed his flight. And when he missed his flight, he was told that you will not be eligible to play, so you will no longer have to come.
So he wouldn't have been here in time to play in the postseason.
Yes, so if he had to get on the flight when he did to be in order to come here for this weekend and play in their final 5 games. But when he missed that, that was no longer an option, so they decided just to forego the import route for the rest of the season, unless Chris Johnson makes his return.
Yeah, so I'm sure in the history of the game there are many stories around imports, and usually they center on, hang on, how did you drop 6 inches in height on the flight between getting on the plane and getting here? But on this occasion he didn't even get on the plane.
Well, Pacific shrinkage is a real thing, and it does occur in particular to American imports who are coming down to this part of the world to play basketball. I don't know why. It might be genetic. But yeah, the guys are taller when they get on the plane and shorter when they get over here.
Yeah, and on occasion have enjoyed some of the hospitality en route as well. But yeah, okay, so I mean that's certainly a knockback for the Tuatara. But as you say, Casey, that they're just soaking up the blows as Schneider tries to send another one the way of the Nuggets. Great to board there from young Beattie.
And I'm not sure I've spoken about it enough, but Schneider's just turnaround of his season has been brilliant. He's come out and didn't perform up to the level that would be expected of an import, and at times looked like maybe he wasn't going to be able to figure out in his first couple of games. But in these last few, he's been ultra efficient, playing solid defense, getting other guys involved, and leading the way for the scoring. Now other guys have chipped in at this point, but he is still up there with his 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists today.
This might be a case of off to the races for the final 3 minutes 20 here, as it really does free up and turn into a scrimmage of sorts. Aaron Young wants to slow things down, but I can tell you for the Nuggets that Robert Coleman out there wearing 5, Joe Ahi 11, Max Pierce 12, Jack Andrew 21, so the bench unit certainly out on the floor. And likewise for the Tuatara, with BT Fitzgerald on the floor getting some valuable minutes. So this one, to be fair, Casey, I did say you called it as early as I've ever heard you call a game of basketball. I will now happily, you were right, absolutely right. I just wanted one of us at least to try and maintain a little hope.
Well, there's always hope, but when you're looking at the way that things were going, it was just one-way traffic, and the Nuggets will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out why this performance today was where it was at. Hopefully for them, it is something. I mean, not hopefully, obviously I don't wish illness upon anyone, but it may be something like a bout of illness that we are unaware of that went through the team and affected everyone. Certainly training has been disjointed with guys away, the Tall Blacks, and possibly just a full week of training coming here, everybody in the gym, and we could see an entirely different squad next week. But this one's going to leave a certain taste in your mouth for a bit of time.
BT elevates, can't find the target. Well, still great action to come this afternoon. The Saints in the airs, that is one to look forward to. The Saints continue to try and mount some sort of a second half revival to get into the 6.
And the Taranaki Airs doing a great job on the road, going to Nelson as we see the foul. Coleman in the break will get free throws, but Charlie Dalton will head to the stripe, to the Rosine for a few. But as we see Dalton go to the hole there, and unfortunately looking at the replay, I've lost my train of thought, Andrew.
Talking Saints, talking Airs.
Saints and Airs. The Airs had such a fantastic win at Nelson, where they were on the outside looking in, had that huge win that moved them up into the top 6, where they're now fighting their way in. If they could get this victory today, that not only would propel their hopes, but quite possibly take out an extremely talented team out of the equation. And we're seeing another timeout from Coach Brett Matahare, which, if I'm in this game, I'm like, can we just let this end?
Well, it gives us a chance to chat about what's happening in the rest of the league, and let's talk about the Saints. I've been reasonably confident. Did you sense a little hesitation there now? I've been reasonably confident the whole way through, even when they, 0-4, that the Saints will make the 6. I still think they'll make the 6. What do you make of their roster, their chances, and if they make the 6, surely they're as good a chance as anyone in one of the most even competitions that we've seen.
In terms of talent, it's been fantastic. That's a supremely talented squad, but there is a lot of positional overflow. You look at, they've got Smith at the guard spot, who he's a true point guard and he's the shooter. But then you could reasonably say that Cooks, that Samuels, that Vodanovic, and that Naitai are essentially play the same position at different sizes. Now, they are long. They've got their true big import that has come over, the American that's come over, and he's playing a role off the bench, but he hasn't played a lot of time. But they don't really have, that true bang shooter, like a knockdown 2-guard guy. The real struggle is they don't have the guys that can keep opposition perimeter players from penetrating, and that's been the big key defensively. For long, consistent stretches, they haven't been able to guard the ball around the court, and that in the end has done them in. In terms of talent, coming into the season, I thought that versatility was going to be huge, and they were going to be able to just be a Swiss Army knife everywhere, take advantage of switches. but it's gone the other way. Other teams have taken advantage of those mismatches instead.
So if they are to try and get into that top 6 conversation, and they are already, but if they're trying to really cement themselves, then you would think a win over the inform airs would be quite the statement this afternoon.
Well, this one's important for both ways. I mean, they have a, I'm not sure of the count back between them, but they did beat Taranaki in their first matchup. So I think a close one for the Airs wouldn't quite get the count back, but it would put them so far behind the 8 ball in the terms of the wins they need. They just have such a small margin for error. I mean, it looks like 9-9 is going to get you in. So if they lose 2 more games, that's about all the chance they have.
I saw a nice triple made by Joe Ahi as Knox continues to direct this bench unit for Brent Matahare. For the Tuatara, they'll get on board, head home, very, very content with, well, a wonderful weekend. 2 from 2 on the road trip south, and again, both coaches are keen to try and stretch this out. Another timeout is called. So perhaps a learning opportunity here, as a chance to have a chat with some of the younger players and explain to them, and Aaron Young's got a point to make here, but they'll be delighted, the Tuatara. They've had a tough 4 or 5 weeks dealing with issues off the floor, with losing the likes of Chris Johnson, but they're bouncing back after an 0-4 run.
Yeah, 0-4, just 12 points the difference in those 4 games. And look how they've turned things around. A 30-point blowout here, a 10-point win over Southland that was never anywhere as close as that 10 points. It always felt like 25. So dominant on the road against quality opposition that, quite frankly, they were made to look at a lower quality than they are because of the play of the Tuatara.
Doesn't get any easier for the Nuggets. They travel to the Saints on the 10th of July, and the following day, the 11th, they're in the Hawke's Bay. So that is a heck of a tough road double for the Nuggets to try and get back on track after this defeat.
Occasionally, you just run into a buzzsaw and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's the mindset the Nuggets got to take. They have to look at the film, see where they did wrong, but the hope would be that this was an aberration. Well, I guess a couple of aberrations, because it's quite similar to the game they had against the Rams their last time out. But hopefully just a speed bump before they can get their style of play back on track.
Chris McIntosh just catching a little of the wrist of Max Pierce. Rueful look from McIntosh.
Asking there, can I grab him if I do this? Didn't see quite where the foul was, but McIntosh thought he played solid defense in the front, but a little too handsy for the likes of the crew. One for 2, the result, and still 30 points the difference.
Yeah, I think it was 31 at the break, wasn't it? So they're pretty much there or thereabouts in terms of the second half, but it's little consolation, of course, because the game essentially was decided in that first half. Fitzgerald just with another dagger blow.
Yeah, the scoring slowed down here in the the fourth, after an explosive third quarter where the Nuggets looked like they might get their way back into it. But in the end, that one drops. We'll tell the story about the three-pointers momentarily, but that is now 7 for 25 from 3.
Dalton from the corner comes up short. Knox. Final play, perhaps, of this, and one that the Nuggets will want to forget. And possession will end in the hands of Nick Barrow. Not concerned about the half court, and the referee gets a touch with a second still on the clock. That's all okay when the scoreline is the one that we have here this afternoon. The Tuatara have been far too strong, and they have buried the Nuggets 105-74.
a dominant end-to-end performance where the Nuggets were only able to win a single quarter, and that only just by a point. Overall, the Tuatara start to finish clinical, outworked, out-hustled, really rebounded well, a 19 rebound advantage in there. Here we take a look at the scores. Taki Ferentsen coming off the bench hot from three to help ignite that run early. 25 for him. Dante Russo, Nance. Did we mention he's 17? Just a
17. I'm looking at 320-plus outputs from the Tuatara.
From the guards, they're really dominant. Rob Lowe controlling the glass. I mentioned earlier, it was a 54 to 35 rebounding advantage for the Tuatara, but a total team effort with Rob Lowe leading the way. Russo Nance, is that 21, 9, and 6?
Is he 17?
I think he's 17. I think there might be some scouts and professional scouts and college scouts and agents and everyone else trying to get in touch with him. Blocks, there we see Todd Withers, 5 of them. His defensive intensity around the rim was solid.
I reckon they might have missed 1 or 2 for Rob Lowe.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
big man might head to the block union about that.
And here's another tale of the game. Trey Boyd, you know, he was game. He did have some pickup in the work rate in the second half. You see this 4 steals to go along with the leading scorer who had 19 for the Nuggets, but overall an end-to-end victory where the Tuatara barely left scuttle control because they're Lizards.
What's coming up? We have the Saints and the Airs coming up from TSB Bank Arena. That will be a thriller, as we've described in the context of the table and the fortunes of those two teams. On Wednesday night, Taranaki Airs go back at it again up against the Franklin Bulls, who were inspired by Isaac Davidson. And Manawatu Jets, what a turn-up they've been this season. They host the Bulls, so the Bulls will be busy later this week. Wednesday and Thursday night appointments for them. But this is what it's all about in the Cells NBL, proudly presented by GJ Gardner Homes. Despite the loss, despite the poor day performance-wise, the fans are here, they're enjoying it, they're lapping it up, the kids are on the floor, and everyone's having a great basketball moment or two to share and talk about. No doubt they'll be back again to support their Nuggets. It wasn't their day today, though. The Auckland Tuatara far too strong. On behalf of our NTech and Sky Sport crew, and Casey Frank alongside me, Andrew Dewhurst, it's farewell from the Edgar Centre in Dunedin.